The show is about to start. Thank you for your cooperation. Enjoy the show, and please come back and visit us again.
All right, everybody, welcome to episode 173 of the 9 Years podcast with a rather tired Nick Draper and a rather under-the-weather face of the BBC Sport website, Stuart Deacons. Stu, you've not been feeling great this past week.
No, I think, Joe, I think the season's taken out of all of us at the moment, isn't it? So I think I've just got fatigue on the ups and downs of supporting AFC Wimbledon.
Yes, I suppose it has been up and down over the past couple of months. Before that, it was largely just down. But we might still stay up, so you see what I've done there. What do we have to talk about this week, Stu? Because I am legitimately not sure what day it is.
So you're struggling because you've had the festival of WrestleMania, haven't you?
I have, and it's fallen in, as it always does, to be fair, my Easter holiday time. So I'm very confused. This for me is like that week between Christmas and New Year. Don't really know what's going on. But from memory, we drew, seems a long time ago now, we drew with Accrington, didn't we? We drew 1-1.
We did. Yeah, we did.
So we'll talk about that. We'll look ahead to the trip to Oxford this weekend, and we're going to be predicting how we think the League One relegation battle is going to conclude, because now every single team in the bottom half of the table has played exactly the same amount of games, so we can now do a run-in for every single team. And then we've got some news to talk about, including some big news regarding somebody at the football club. I'm saying it as if there's going to be some big reveal. We all know what that is, but we'll touch on it anyway. This draw, though, Accrington Stanley. Accrington Stanley are from Lancashire. If I have to hear one more of our fans, when I go to these games with Accrington, refer to them as Scousers, I swear. How difficult is it to understand? Accrington, Lancashire. Some Scouse kid on a milk advert 30 years ago does not mean that they are from Liverpool.
I know, we all remember Accrington as, well, we don't all remember Accrington as that, but that's the advert, wasn't it, with these Scouser and stuff. But yes, they're from Lancashire, a small town that if you blinked, you'd miss it on the way through. It is a very small, even though, to be fair, it's had some work done on it this year, isn't it? So, but that will look nice in League Two, hopefully. Well,
they might well be in League Two the way they're going, but we couldn't beat them. So they lost on Tuesday night at home to Rochdale. Rochdale have leaped out of the relegation zone because of that. But prior to that, we couldn't do what Rochdale did. We couldn't keep a clean sheet. We couldn't pick up 3 points. Wally Downs referenced inexperience after the game, and that is probably what it was, wasn't it? A mistake from Paul Kalambayi, let them in for an equaliser. Up until that point, we were very comfortable, and we were just made to pay. Like I've said a few weeks ago, I said, look, we're not making the mistakes we used to, and then consecutively every Saturday since then, we've made a defensive error. Against Scunthorpe, it didn't cost us because we still won the game, but Gillingham we lost. Accrington, we dropped 2 points, and Paul Kalambayi has been brilliant, but he's very young. He's going to make mistakes, and this was concentration, wasn't it, for me? It was a long ball that he's gone to head away, but it's almost as if he thought he'd done the job before he'd done it. Sloppy header, played himself into trouble after that.
Yeah, he made the error, didn't he? So he went for the header, and it went up, flying up in the air, and it's one of those things that you sort of know that you haven't got the distance on the header you wanted to, and you can see the ball, and you're thinking, right, well, I'm going to make up for my error, and in the end, you make a bigger error, and that's what really happened, wasn't it? Really, it was frustrating because Will Nightingale could see everything, but I think from memory, Billy Key was sort of trying to block him from getting away near the ball, and in the end, when you see it real time, you sort of knew what he was going to do, but when you see it back on the replay, actually, he telegraphs it so obviously. Like their player who knocks the ball past Ramsdale, literally is on it within like no time at all. Just made it very obvious, and I think we're all starting to feel the nerves now, and the players are no different to any of us. And unfortunately, when you have youngsters, and Paul Kalambayi is a youngster, you sometimes the pressure can get to them, or you can make mistakes. That's the price you pay for playing the kids. But at the moment, you want to be cutting out those errors. But there was for me, that was probably one of the first times I've really seen some nerves amongst our players, which is understandable. But we're now going into the final month of the season, and we need to really cut out any really individual errors.
Is it nerves just in the sense of mistakes at the back, like we saw for the goal on Saturday, like we saw at Gillingham, like we saw at Scunthorpe with Ramsdale? But is it also a case of nerves in an attacking sense? Because as much as we were comfortable in that first half an hour, up until the equaliser really, I didn't think for the whole 90 minutes we did enough, especially in that second half. Didn't make their keeper really do much at all. It was like we didn't seem to either have the ability or the confidence to really try something different.
Yeah, you're right, we got nervous. We didn't, I don't think we deserved to win the game by any stretch. Yes, we did hit the outside the post of Hansen. I think we had one other cleared off the line, but I never thought we'd done enough to really win the game. We went too long in the end, so we basically went for Hansen every time. We brought Dylan Connolly on, but never got the ball to Connolly at all. And it's roughly as I thought with Connolly, that if you've got a team that's got no need to come out and attack you, Connolly can't get one-on-one with their fullback. And in the end, we weren't brave enough to actually try and use our fullbacks. Playing 3-5-2, we never really got Civic or Seddon whilst he was on. We never really got them going. And in the end, we went long to Hansen every time. And I think, I think in the end they done enough to stop Hansen from being effective. But sometimes, like I say, when you're nervous and you know every game is an important game. When you're nervous, sometimes you just do the thing that's easy, and the easy board is playing it long. The harder ball is trying to play the angles and try and work through the midfield. And Saturday we just got caught out by a little bit of, like I say, I think it's the first time I say it's really nervous. Was
the Hansen? We've talked about Hansen being important to us in this run-in. For me, I felt, you're right, we obviously got a bit too one-dimensional trying to play it long to Hansen every single time we got it. But what it also did, apart from the goal, and the goal actually comes from working it through a midfield position. It's a great pass from Hartigan to play instead, and the cross comes in. But that was one of the few times we got Joe Pigott in the box. And we've said all season, best thing for Joe Pigott to be is in the box. But we were knocking it long and long and long to Hansen all the times. And it was almost like Joe was never gambling to get in behind on a flick on or anything like that. He was actually dropping off, wasn't he? As if he was going to pick up the second ball in midfield. And I thought Joe had a decent game. He won our Man of the Match poll on Twitter, but it's not the game you want to see him playing. Is it a conscious decision for him not to try and get in the box ahead of Hansen? Why does he always seem to be dropping off and then almost playing deep in the midfield?
Yeah, difficult, isn't it? Because sometimes if Hansen's going to win a ball, if you're going to win a flick on, you want really someone to be alongside him, or at least really like sort of 5-10 yards of him to keep the ball. But where we kept going so long, we also seemed to detach ourselves from the midfield, where we never really got any of the midfielders around Hansen. I lost count the amount of times that Ramsdale went long early. He kicked the ball early, he hit the ball to Hansen, and even sometimes when Hansen did win the ball, he had 2 or 3 people around him, but no Wimbledon player anywhere near him. So actually, he had an awful job to do to keep the ball. It just felt Saturday we didn't really have a game plan, if I'm being honest with you. I felt we done really well in the first half an hour, and we've done that a few times now. We come out and really hit the ground running really early on. But if we get the first goal, so last 2 home games we've got the early goal against Gillingham and also Accrington, but we haven't looked good enough or capable of getting that second goal. Which you always know when you get the first goal, if you can get the second goal, your game's gone. 2-0 lead is a very difficult lead to get back from, but. It's nerves, isn't it? I get that, but we need to cut out the errors. And in the end, a point was a good point, but it didn't feel a good point for me walking out of the stadium on Saturday. No,
I don't think it felt that way for any of us. There was also a lot of frustration with the referee. How much did he interfere with what we were, in some ways, attempting to do on Saturday? Was he a key reason as to why things didn't quite happen for us in that second half as well?
Hey, look, Accrington played the game very well, and They broke the game up. Hey, look, there was this first game I've seen where you got 3 people getting booked for simulation, 2 from Accrington. But hey, look, for me, the referee didn't contribute to us not winning the game, but Accrington played him brilliantly in terms of they kept falling over, they kept going down with cramp. Their keeper took ages, even though the referee was onto him for a long while. Accrington went away with a happy point. They were very happy. The only frustration I had was that Hansen just seemed to get no joy whatsoever. From the early on, I think from like the 10th or 15th minute, the referee called in Will Nightingale's captain to talk to Hansen. Well, talk to him for what? He's trying to win a ball and he's going to go up with his hands or his elbows, etc. The Accrington defenders weren't exactly going up with no elbows either, but it felt to me that the referee, any time an Accrington player fell over, they had an automatic buzzer that went to his arm, and he went, "Oh, yeah, they've been touched. I'll get a free kick." He's not the reason we didn't win the game, but Accrington, let's be fair, they were very good in what they did. It was very frustrating.
Gamesmanship.
That's the word.
Managing the game. I don't think this is typical of Accrington whatsoever. I think they got up last season playing some fantastically attractive passing football, and that's how they started the season. To me, it struck me as a performance that was, because it was one of those that needs must. And the situation they were in, with a really horrendous run of form, which we'll touch on more in a moment, they thought, we need to do whatever we can just to stop losing, trying to get some points back on the board. I mean, it's not helped them. Tuesday night, they've gone and lost again. Perhaps they thought they could go back to their old ways almost too soon, and Rochdale have picked them up. But it seemed to me that they were very much in it to just try and stop this losing run, maybe try and sneak a winner if they could. And that's why they suddenly employed these tactics that I don't think you'll see from them. I don't think they're not going to be in Wickham territory. They're really not.
No, it was a surprise, wasn't it? I think the only thing with Accrington, one thing that shocked me actually, and I don't know why it shocks me, but you look at the teams around us, and we're on a very good run of form. There's no doubt about that. But I sort of think we're playing reasonably well. However, I'll be honest with you, I think Gillingham and Accrington have come down and probably outplayed us for lots of the game. I thought Accrington were decent on Saturday, very quick, good around the box. To me, they had a better flow up front in terms of their, from midfield into attack, very quick, very small and nimble. And it surprised me because I don't know. I suppose I wasn't expecting a team to come down with their heads down and knocking the ball long all the time. But actually, they were decent on Saturday. And I think one thing that probably worried me a little bit on Saturday was actually, do you know what? These teams are down there, but they're not rubbish. The days of the Burys and the Oldhams and that lot, I don't think there's many of them. Well, we haven't played Bradford yet. We don't count them to the last game of the season. But the last 2 teams, like I say, that have come down to us, Gillingham and Accrington, they've been good value for the points they've taken away from us.
With Accrington, though, do you not think it was more of a case of the equaliser came a little bit out of nowhere? See, Gillingham, I thought when they equalised, I sensed that had been coming. I didn't sense that with Accrington. It was a mistake. And then it was only after that I thought they started to actually move the ball a lot quicker and start to try and play a bit more football. But was that capitalising on our nervousness?
Hey, look, look, that was a massive 5 minutes, probably 10 minutes actually, because you had the Paul Canonbai backheader that was obviously resulting in a goal. You had the penalty, and then you had Canonbai going searching for a ball, and probably lucky, not it was down the other end. But for me, I was a little bit worried early on that he'd had an almighty mad 10 minutes, and we could have been 2-1 out of the game and down to 10 men. That wouldn't have been stretching the truth on that. I just thought they looked decent. Yes, they weren't. The goal come at the right time for them. But there's no team at the moment that's come down to our place looking absolutely shocking. We're having to get anything we're getting at the moment. We're having to work really hard for. But yeah, it just surprised me, Accrington, really, that they weren't as bad as I thought they would be with their current form. Bearing in mind we've got Bristol Rovers coming down to our place still. Wickham, the biggest. We're going to go through the games in a little while, but we probably have the 2 biggest games right at the end of the season. But we've basically got to make sure we stay 21st, 20th, 19th until we get to them games. So yeah, it's going to be a massive 5 weeks.
Yeah, we're going to look through that last remaining 5 games, you say, for the whole of the bottom half in a moment. The Canonbai thing, you're right, there was a mad 5 minutes. He could have seen red for the tackle. He could have. I'm not sure if Accrington actually did themselves out of that a little bit, because there was such a melee of players around the ref immediately after it happened. It actually forced the referee to pause before he made a decision. That probably helped us in the end, because the way the ref was at the time seems to be losing control a little bit. It wouldn't have surprised me if no one had said anything and the ref had got to Kalimbai first. He might have just whipped out the red card. Not sure. In terms of the penalty, and I want to talk about, you've already mentioned the 3 bookings for dives. Let's start with the penalty decision. Do you think the referee was correct to award that?
I've watched it a couple of times. It's clumsy at best. It's difficult to see, isn't it? And I'll be truthful, because I'm just now looking forward to getting to the next game. I've just gone, is what it is. At the time, I didn't think it was a penalty. I think it was a harsh one. I think it was a harsh penalty.
What about the bookings then for dives? The one, was it Smith in the first few minutes?
Yeah.
For me, I thought it was a penalty.
See, I think he just didn't want to stand up. I wonder whether he had any studs on at all, or he had slippers on, because he really was going to the floor. I just think you made a meal of it, and the referees sometimes nowadays, the more you make a meal of it, the more they're gonna probably not give it to you. So I thought he dived.
Now the other 2, Dylan Connolly for us, and then there was one. Was it Clark? Was it the goal scorer in the second half?
Yes.
I'm going to be honest. For both of them, I haven't had a good look at either of them. Not at the time, not watching it back. So I don't want to go all Wenger on everyone, but I can't really make a judgment. I didn't really see them. The only thing I'd say about Dylan is that I think he's now been booked twice in the last 2 home games for diving, following the penalty against Peterborough that he won, shall we say.
He goes down easy. There's no doubt about that. He's obviously, because he's so quick, he's working on the thing that if he gets a touch and the speed he's going at, he's going to fall over. I think you'll find he'll win penalties, but I also think you'll find he'll win bookings as well. And I think we just have to take that side of the game with it.
What about the other Accrington one? Did you see that?
You saw that. Definite dive. I think he saw, if I remember properly, I think he saw the tackle come in. We pulled out the tackle. He still thought the tackle was coming, went over. But the thing was, I hate going on about referees, but what you said earlier, you were right. He did lose control of the game. And what happened was, because he was giving out bookings he basically was giving out bookings as if he was giving out chocolates at Easter. He was just giving them out for fun. And in the end, he made players try and win free kicks, or if someone fouled them, they were trying to make sure he got a booking. If someone's on a second booking, because I think Smith got taken off at half time, if I remember properly, because he probably got sent off. So the referee lost control in the sense that players felt that any foul was going to be a booking or could be a booking, and that's when you got a little bit of a mad half hour.
And then in the second half, we talked about Connolly being on the pitch. Of course, it was a substitution. He came on. We seemed to change shape 4-3-3 to little effect. Paul Kalimbai was one player that was taken off. Does he go straight back in the starting lineup on Saturday? Or, as we talked about a little while ago, Wally talked before the West Ham game of needing men. It needed experience. Do you think that time has now come as we enter the final straight and Deji Oshalaja perhaps comes back in?
Difficult, isn't it? Because I felt our best forms come since. Well, it has. It's not. I feel you can tell the best forms come since Deji's been out. That doesn't mean that Deji is a bad player, but I just look. Deji's not going to be here. Deji is not going to be here next summer, is he? Not next summer. Next season. He's not going to be here. We all know that. He's out of contract. We've made, from what it looks like, no attempt to give him a new contract, or he's got no attempt to talk to us about a new contract. I'm not. He's a professional, so if he did come in, I'm sure he would try. But I just don't see the point of bringing him back. I really don't. Seddon's obviously out, so that's a problem. I know McDonald can play left back, so I'll probably be tempted to play him that way. But it's gonna. Yeah, I think it's gonna be. Oxford are on decent form. They're probably, you could say, out of trouble. They've got two red cards today from the Walsall game as well, so they're going to have 2 changes, definitely. I probably wouldn't make too many changes for Saturday.
And the last thing I want to touch on for the Accrington game, got a bit round the houses here. Mentioned their poor form. I was actually going to ask you about what you made of them. You've already sort of said you thought there was something. They've got something about them. They've got some quality in there. But last 25 games, I know that seems an extreme period to look at, but it's just how poor it's been. They've lost 15 of their last 25. They've only won 4 of their last 25, and that probably sums up why they are now right in the middle of a huge relegation scrap.
Yeah.
Can you turn that form? They've not dropped below the line yet, but can they turn that run around?
I think it's very difficult. Obviously, losing again on Tuesday night, that doesn't help, does it at all? And you could argue, you could argue that actually they probably haven't got enough to win games. They're probably pretty and could draw games. They never really went for the win against us, really. And maybe that's been their fault most of the season, where they've been happy to pick points up here and there, but not really picking up the maximum points, which you're going to have to at some point to get out of this trouble. I think you have to accept that every team that's down probably up to 14 for something like that is going to be in the relegation trouble for most of the last 5 games. No one's really going to escape it big time. And actually they've got to win games, and that's what they're not doing. So, you do have to worry for them. And if I'm being honest with you, I'd rather they would take, it's a cynical game. So I'd rather they take our place in the relegation battle than us. So I'm hoping they don't do too good.
Well, let's have a look at the relegation battle. As I said, every team now in amongst it has played 41 games. If you look at the bottom half of the table, Gillingham are in 13th on 48 points. I think they're fine. Shrewsbury are fine, 47 points. I think they'll be fine. But I think it's them we sort of said the other week, Plymouth should be out of it and safe. But they've gone on a bit of a mini slump. 2 points from their last 12 and only 4 points above it. So I don't think you can discount them just yet, especially as we look at some of their fixtures they've still got to come. So I think it's from Plymouth down. Bradford, that's an impossible situation for them now. 8 points from safety with 5 games to go. They're just not getting out of that. So Bradford have gone. And then it's a scrap from Plymouth in 15th, Bristol Rovers, Accrington, Scunthorpe, who lots of people aren't talking about really, but they've only got 4 points from the last 15. So Rochdale, Wickham, Southend, ourselves, and then Warsaw flying the flag for Europe. Well, I've got a list of fixtures, including all of those teams here. Should we just go through and see what we think is going to happen and work out what that will make the league table look like by the end of the day? So I think the place to start with this is actually with our game with Oxford on Saturday, because we've got to talk about it. So let's start with that one, get this one out of the way. Oxford, okay, we know the Sound Stadium has not been the happiest of places for us to go over the years. Was it 1 win in 7? Lost 5 of those, and they are in good form. They are now 12th. They're in the top half. They're in the top half of the league. It's ridiculous, and they're safe. They're on 52 points, so they are safe now. They've won their last 4. They're unbeaten in 5. They've won 6 of their last 8, but they've got 2 suspended, Brown and Cashy, who has been highly rated. So it's not the worst fixture or the worst timing of this fixture for us. I will take a win the same way we won at Kings Meadow earlier in the season, which was a rubbish win. It was a terrible game of football. We played awfully, but we actually eked out the win. So I'll take that again.
You go for the win?
No, I said I'd take it. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think this will be another draw. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think. Hey, do you know what? Our form, we haven't lost in 5 or 6 away games now.
Well,
you have to go on.
Did you say that?
I think you have to go on stats. It's a stat game, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I think you have to look at it. Our away form is really good. I think we get a draw.
Why did you say that? Is it really that long since we've lost away from home? What was it, Sunderland? Is that the last time we lost away from home?
I will clarify that for you, because I'm not on that.
Clarify? Do you mean confirm?
Clarify, confirm. Yeah, confirm sounds a bit better, doesn't it?
Sounds correct, yes.
So let's have a look. So last time we lost away from home would be Sunderland.
Wow.
Back on the 2nd of February.
Yep. So we're due, basically, aren't we? Let's try and, we've got Luton coming up. Maybe we can extend it for one more game. Then Luton away we can lose. That's fine, because we all expect we're going to lose there anyway. So we'll take that.
I think we get a draw. I think we get a draw at Oxford.
Well, we've both sort of said that. So let's make that our first prediction. So for this Saturday's fixtures, draw Oxford and ourselves. Right, let's go through what is a ridiculous fixture list on Saturday with some huge games at the bottom. Starting off with the biggest one and also alphabetically first, Accrington versus Walsall. I mean, two teams that between them, out of a possible 30 points over their last 5 games between the two of them, they have picked up 1. And yes, that was Accrington at Kingsmeadow.
Yeah, they're both on terrible form, aren't they? Accrington at home, I don't think that makes it... It's really weird sometimes, isn't it? Because some teams, when they're playing away from home, they don't have the pressure that they do at home games. Walsall sacked their manager, didn't they?
Yes.
After
Well,
Oxford.
just Dean Keats.
I don't think you're going to get the that bounce. I just don't think you're going to get it. I don't think either will. I don't think either will get maximum points. I think it'll be a draw.
So we'll go for a draw there. Bristol Rovers at home to Bradford. Home win.
Oh, yeah, all day long.
Plymouth away at Doncaster. Chasing that last playoff place, Doncaster.
Yeah, Doncaster have tripped up a little bit recently, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? Not heavily, but they were in good form. But you probably would expect them to win. Yeah, I probably would expect them to win that game.
So Doncaster, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Portsmouth at home to Rochdale, home win.
Yep.
Scunthorpe Burton.
Again, I think Burton are doing really well at the moment, aren't they? I think Burton have got a decent side. They should really come down for the Championship. I can see Burton getting at least a draw, potentially a win there, I reckon.
Okay, I'm going to say a draw.
Okay.
The reason I'm going to say that is because Scunthorpe probably need to eke out results and will probably eke it out against Burton, which is not the worst. If he's saying that, we lost at home to Burton and we didn't turn up. But anyway, in the past now, let's move on. Southend, Wickham, the big one, the biggest of them all probably, because these two teams, if Walsall and Accrington Stanley are in a bad form, they've got nothing on these two.
Well, you know, I was talking about points per game. This will make you chuckle. So, Wickham, well, I'll start with Southend. So, Southend being a home team of averaging 1.05 points per game this season. In their last 8, they've picked up 0.38 points per game.
0.38. That's not. That rounds to 0.
Yeah. Well, you think that's bad? Wickham, they are averaging 1.07 points per game this season. In their last 8, even worse, 0.13 points per game in their last 8.
Oh my word, that's terrible.
So this is basically this is a typical 6-pointer. I just think if Southend are going to get out of trouble, this is the game they're going to go for. I think there'll be a result in this. I really do. I don't think it'll be a draw.
You don't think it's going to be abandoned?
No, what I mean, I think there'll be a 3 points from either side. I think, and my gut feeling is I think Southend will get it.
I'm not going to dispute that one because they haven't won in so long that they are due. So yes, I will agree with you, and we'll give Southend the win over Wickham. Done.
Cool.
Okay. So that's that. That's this weekend's fixtures done.
What a week of games!
Ridiculous games, huge games. Southend, Wickham, Accrington, Walsall, and then us against Oxford.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that then takes us into Good Friday.
Oh, Easter.
And let's run through these. So we're going to go through these very quickly. We're at home to Bristol Rovers first up.
Win. Oh, no, I don't know. It's very difficult with these prediction leagues because you think win, but we're not going to do that. I think Bristol Rovers is a tough game. I really do.
Yeah.
I can see it being a draw again.
Yeah. It would be our third draw in a row, which is unusual. But at the moment, I think that we'd probably cancel each other out. So, yeah, I'll go for another draw there. Plymouth then go to Gillingham. And do you know what? I think Plymouth will get a win there. I know that sort of runs counter, but I just think Gillingham's safe. Plymouth will go there because they need to get a result and they'll probably get it. And Gillingham aren't great, if we're being honest.
Yep, not going to live with that.
Okay. So an away win there for Plymouth. Rochdale, oh my word. Rochdale, Wickham.
See, the thing is, in my head, I've got teams that I think will automatically get relegated. And Wickham are that for me. I just don't think they can get themselves out of trouble. So I think they'll lose that game.
So Rochdale?
Yeah, I do. I think Rochdale.
Yeah.
Been there before, done it. I think they'll do it again.
Scunthorpe Blackpool.
Again, I think home games for Scunthorpe are tough because their fans are very much on their back, aren't they? Draw, I would say, on that one.
Okay. Yeah, I've got no major objections to that. So Scunthorpe get a draw, another draw for them. Warsaw versus Southend.
Wow, there are some great games coming up.
What a couple of weeks for Southend. Blimey, Wickham and Warsaw. Teams that they should, if they want to stay up, they've got to win both. I don't think they'll win both. So I can see it's being another draw. Very sorry, everyone.
Yeah. Yes, I think you're right on that one.
Okay, so another draw there. So, lots of draws. Takes us into... Oh, no, that's then on the Saturday. Accrington Stanley have a nice, easy game at home to Luton Town. Away win.
Yeah.
I can't... No, there's not even a discussion there. It's Luton, they're winning that. Away win. So, Accrington, you are in doo-doo. Big trouble. Right, then that does take us through to Easter Monday. Oh, of course, that's on the Saturday because of TV, and that's why we're playing Luton on Tuesday instead of Monday, aren't we? Oh.
Yeah, because Luton can't play 2 games in 48 hours.
No, quite right.
The size of their squad.
Yeah, it's not about size. Right. Southend, then, on Easter Monday, they host Burton again, who are playing quite the role in this battle. We've got Southend to take 4 points from their last 6. I can't see them winning this one.
No, and I know sometimes people will say, well, Burton probably are safe and they won't go there. But Burton seem to me a team that would go up and basically spoil anyone's party. I don't think they really care too much. I don't think they're going to drop off too much until the season finishes. So, yeah, if I'm looking at teams in terms of the form and everything like that, I think Burton go there and win.
Yeah, so that would knock Southend down a little bit. Burton, I'll go with an away win. Bristol Rovers versus Rochdale now. Oh, how to call that one? Bristol Rovers aren't in great form, are they? But
no, I don't think Bristol Rovers. I think it's a lot of their fans think they're safe or they've got some good fixtures. I think they've got some tough fixtures. Rochdale wouldn't surprise me going there and stopping them winning. I don't see Rochdale winning that game. I'll go pretty call it a draw.
Another draw?
I can't
see Rochdale winning it. No, I can't see Rochdale winning it. I'll go agree with you on that one. Charlton Scunthorpe is a home win for me all day long. Charlton are in such great form at the moment.
Yes.
Agree on that one? Yep. Scunthorpe's running ain't great. Plymouth at home to Barnsley. Now, Barnsley aren't in good form. They've dropped out of the automatic promotion places. They're drawing a lot of games.
I agree.
I'm not sure how to call this one.
Barnsley are. I think they're a very good team. I think they're the teams that come to our place. They're probably in the top 3, top 4. I can see them going to Plymouth and winning.
Going away win. You'd think so. I mean, logic would tell you Barnsley will go there and win.
Yeah.
They did go at Walsall. I think that's their lone win of the last 6 or 7, I think. So, okay. And then Walsall. My word. Have we not already done? I feel like we've already done this. Wickham versus Walsall. No, Walsall have had.
It's just because they all play each other, aren't they?
They are. Walsall have got the most of them.
And Walsall are at home, aren't they?
Wickham. No, Wickham are at home.
Wickham are at home.
Wickham have got to win at some point.
Yeah, and I think if they're going to win anywhere, they're going to win at home, aren't they? Of course. Yeah, Wickham home win.
Okay, so Wickham get home win. Accrington Stanley then go. Their relegation tour continues away at Doncaster.
Oh dear.
It's one of those where they might sneak a point there.
Yeah, let's be generous. Give them a point.
Give them a point.
We're away. Generous, of course, anywhere in this league.
No, what a night that will be, by the way, because that's the same night we're away at Luton. So, a home win.
The best word in the world. I just don't see us getting anything at Luton. I really don't. I would go for a home win.
Yeah, home win. Okay, so I need to just make that. Our run-in's not looking great so far. I don't think we've got a win so far. Right, takes us to the next Saturday. Accrington Stanley versus Plymouth.
Oh dear.
Stanley need to get a win. I'm sorry, Plymouth. Law of averages. Surely they're going to get a win somewhere.
Yeah, they should do. But I just think Plymouth have got more match winners. That's my gut feeling. It's going to be a tough. If you think about it logically, Accrington will basically. Well, Accrington have got a problem at the moment. Sorry for being an Accrington show at the moment, but I don't know if you've noticed, but they've knocked down their main stand. So they've built a new stand on the opposite to their main stand. but their main stand, they've knocked out all the seats. So it's a lower capacity at the moment. So normally that place is rocking. I know it only holds about 3,000 or 4,000, but we've been there in the playoff game, haven't we? And it's a tidy atmosphere. I just don't know whether they're going to be able to create that intimidating atmosphere that will really buckle Plymouth. I think a best to draw.
Yeah, okay, let's go for a draw. We're at home then to Wickham. I'm going to give that a home win. Yeah, home win for us. Nice fixture to have. Bristol Rovers travel to Fleetwood. Fleetwood have gone. Bristol a draw. I see that being a draw.
Yeah, I can live with that.
Rochdale Southend.
Wow.
My word.
And I just don't think Southend would go there and win. I think Rochdale been through it enough times. Southend under serious pressure. I can see Rochdale winning that.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just making sure I've got all my things up to date. So, yeah, I'm going to agree with that. Rochdale at home side, you'd expect that to be the case. And then Scunthorpe at home to Bradford. Ooh. I'm just going to give everyone a win for I just think everyone beats Bradford at this point.
You're right, but Bradford at some point have still got to win a game. They're not going to go through the whole season without losing, are they? So can we just because of football gods, can we just say they win at Scunthorpe because then they get beat by us on the last game of the season?
I really wish I could do that, Stu.
Do you get what I mean? I just don't see Bradford going and not winning at all in the last 5. I just don't see it.
So you think the pressure of Scunthorpe, all the pressure being on Scunthorpe, will stop them playing?
Bradford will be relegated by then, won't they? So Bradford will be going into, Bradford going to Scunthorpe. I think the pressure at Scunthorpe is quite tough for them. Yeah, I think Bradford will win that.
We'll go for a Bradford win. I must just say, though, you did say that you can't see Bradford going through the whole season without losing. Well, no, they haven't. By some considerable margin.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just having to update my thing so I can do the end of it. Walsall, home to Peterborough. Do you know what? I'm going to give that a home win because Peterborough will be gone by that point.
Yeah, and Peterborough haven't got really any. They're a bit weak, aren't they, when it comes to going to places that are going to really be challenging.
Mm-hmm. So that takes us into the final weekend of the season.
Yay.
Oh, dear. Right. Well, at this point, what have we had? We'd be on 48 points going into the last game of the season.
Yep.
Okay. A win away at Bradford then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll win our last 2 games.
Okay. They are good 2 fixtures to end on, to be fair. Bristol Rovers at home to Barnsley. I don't think it would matter by that point, so I'm going to say a draw.
Okay.
Charlton, Rochdale. Wasn't that the last day of the season last season? But it was at Rochdale, and Rochdale won to stay up.
Yeah, it does ring a bell. I think Charlton will win it, though.
Do you know what? I'm going to say a draw because Charlton will be preparing for the playoffs by this point. And
true. Yeah, true. Good logic.
I have one eye on something else. Plymouth at home to Scunthorpe.
Oh, dear.
Massive game.
What
a game to finish on.
But Plymouth being the home team, I think Plymouth would win that.
Yeah, so do I. I think Plymouth look like they're going to be all right after all this. Portsmouth at home to Accrington Stanley. Sorry, Stanley, you're gone.
And that's their problem, isn't it? So many big games, and yeah, the point. Do you know what? A point at our place wasn't good enough for them.
No, that missed penalty, that key missed penalty, is going to be huge for them.
Anyway, yeah, but they'll lose at Pompey.
Shrewsbury versus Warsaw.
Shrewsbury were safe by them, weren't they? So. Difficult draw. I'll go for a draw.
Okay. Southend, Sunderland. I think Sunderland need to win that to guarantee.
Yeah,
so
Sunderland
I think
they'll win.
Sunderland will win that one. So it's another one off Southend, who are not going to do very well, I don't think. And then finally, Wickham at home to Fleetwood. I think that's a home win because Fleetwood at home on the last day of the season, and that's what happens. You know what happens in that situation.
It is. But do you know what? We make you laugh with Joe Barton going there and just spoiling things for everybody, but yeah, do Wickham win that after they just got beat by us the week before? Yeah, I'll be generous. They can have a home win.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do now. We're going to generate a final league table to see where everyone ends up. And I've just got to do... What I've done is I've basically assumed that every win and every loss will be by 1 goal. So okay. I now have to just adjust goal differences accordingly, which is quite tricky to do, comparing notes from one screen to another. Hold on, so bear with me. Talk amongst yourselves, listeners, whilst I do this.
We will do.
Bristol Rovers will be in positive. Accrington Stanley, negative. Scunthorpe stay the same goal difference-wise. Rochdale improves. Wycombe's stays the same somehow. Don't know how that's happened. Southend in trouble. Right,
Yes.
Keep an eye on Southend in this. AFC Wimbledon, we will end up one better off, and Warsaw also just better off. So, by the end of all this, where's the button I press? Please tell me it's that button. Please tell me it's this button. It's done it. So, by the end of it, Stu, Luton Town will be winners of League One.
Surprise, surprise.
Okay. Bradford will finish rock bottom on 42 points. Scunthorpe, second bottom, on 47 points. Southend, third bottom, on 47 points. Who does the final relegation place go to? And they stay up on goal difference because they finished level on points with the team in 20th. My word.
Dear.
Who would you put money on to be that team that goes down?
Well, I hope we've done it right. It'd probably be Walsall.
It is Warsaw, which means Accrington are going to stay up on goal difference, and we will stay up comfortably in 18th place, 3 points above the relegation zone.
And you know what the thing is, when you do these things, you naturally try and be more positive towards your own team. You always will do, but I've actually tried being the other way actually, because I think we will get 2 wins at the end of the season, which is not how you want it to go. But I think we've got some tough games coming up, haven't we? So, but think about our games being tough. As we've gone through those fixtures, there's a lot of tough games for teams around there. It should be fun.
There's so many big games with teams playing against each other. Southend, Walsall, Accrington all seem to be playing each other in some sort of mini league.
But you know what the irony is as well?
You're right.
Look at the teams
if this is what happens, if this is where it goes.
We said Bradford, Scunthorpe, Southend?
Yeah.
Walsall.
Yeah.
Now, this is an interesting thing if you think about it. If you look at the league tables for the last 5 years in League One, all those clubs at some point have been challenging to get out of the division into a championship. Probably Southend's the only team that probably hasn't.
No, but they should have been.
Scunthorpe had a really good budget. Walsall, if you remember, had a really good budget.
But they were playoff teams. Walsall playoffs, Scunthorpe playoffs, Bradford playoffs.
Yeah. Shows you that.
Wow.
So,
so basically, the top 6, the 4 teams in the playoffs this season, Portsmouth, Charlton, Barnsley and Doncaster, you've got to be careful.
I think it just shows you that eventually, you go, for whatever reason, the chairman put more money in, and then when they visibly drop the money out, that's when the problem comes, isn't it? And you tend to find that the serial relegation fighters tend to have a little bit more, i.e. the Rochdales this world and stuff like that, have a little bit more of more balls, as they say.
Well, Rochdale will end up at 16th at this rate if we've made these predictions correctly. But you're right. We go into the final 2 games of the season on 45 points, according to our predictions. Yeah, means 2 wins in the last 2 games would be somewhat miraculous.
But if you're going to pick any team to come to your place, last home game of the season, Wycombe, you would go, yeah, I'll take that. And you're going to go anywhere last game of the season, you're going to go to a team that's been relegated. Big games. Oh dear.
It would just be fascinating to see because, as we said, there were those bottom 2 that we've ended up with, Scunthorpe and Bradford. They play each other the week before we play Bradford, and we've given Bradford a generous away win. So who knows? That could all change. But fascinating little thing. We finish 18th, Wycombe 19th, and then Accrington stay up on goal difference on 48 points. But what that means is, in real terms, 49 points keeps you in the division. So where are we on now? 43?
Yes.
So we've guessed or we've predicted we're going to pick up 8 points from now to the end of the season. 2 wins, 2 draws, and just the 1 defeat away at Luton.
Yeah, and if we win a game, if we get an earlier win, maybe for our sake, we were fortunate to win at Oxford or win at home to Bristol Rovers, we could stay up and finish really comfortably.
Let's hope we do that, because I don't want to go into the last 2 games of the season needing to win both.
I think, do you know what, I find it, I just don't find it possible that we're going to go to Bradford not needing at least a point. I'd rather not have to make maximum points to to stay up. But I just think we're going to have to go to Bradford and get at least a point. So, hey, I think if we get our mindset of that already, then there's no surprises when we play them on the Saturday. And let's remind everybody, it's a 5:30 kickoff in Bradford, last game of the season. Thank you very much, TV schedules.
Yeah, nice on Sky. Thought that one through well, haven't you? Right. That done, let's very quickly touch on some news around the football club. And Eric's resigned. And he's not said, this isn't one of those where Eric's going to resign. This is, Eric's resigned. He's gone. It's been lodged with Company's House. He is no longer a director of AFC Wimbledon as of last Saturday, according to that. So, well, it's a brave new world for us now with Eric gone. And after being with us since inception, really, but being chief executive since, 12 years, 2007. And obviously there's going to be huge thank yous to the work that he has done over the years. It's a hell of a lot of work he's put in over the years. Fantastic work he's done over the years. So we do say thank you very much for your time, Eric. And we now look ahead to the future under a new CEO, whoever that might be.
Yeah, and I think we all knew, hey, look, it's not a surprise. Eric is 70 years old at the moment, so this is his second retirement. You know, he retired from his last job, and he then went in and got paid a guinea a year. And I think that's the thing that's really interesting is that we're going into a different world now about Eric, who basically doesn't get paid to do the biggest and the most high responsibility job in the club. So what are we going to have to pay people now to do the chief executive role? So sure, that will come out, that's got to be accounted for. It makes it a lot easier if you're going to put our lane because you've got obviously the money coming in. But I think Eric deserves all the plaudits, in terms of his time with us. He's definitely overseen, since he came in as CEO, we got out of the Conference South and then into the Conference Prem and then got into League 2 and League 1. So his time as chief executive has coincided with massive improvements and massive milestones for AFC Wimbledon. I think Eric will be the first to acknowledge that he hasn't done that on his own, but he has been leading the ship, and that's been very tough in some situations. And he's done it with Eric is we've always said before, Eric is a numbers person. He's a financial director, and the only thing what I'm looking forward to is, one, Eric can have a nice break and come to games and not have to worry about everything. And two, we start to literally try and get a CEO now going back into what a fans club is. Because I think we acknowledged that there has been a little bit of a split from Football Club Board moving downwards. And I think, not saying Eric was responsible for all of that, but Eric is a numbers person, and with Plough Lane on the horizon, that's taken up a lot of everyone's time. But I think it's a really massive move now for whoever comes in. I think we're reasonably confident who we think it will be, but it's an exciting time. And but like anything, and not having Eric's always been that safety net. It's always been assured that Eric's at the top of the tree, leading it all. And he's not going to be now. So someone else has got to take on some really, really big shoes.
Yes, we will know more following the Dons Trust SGM next Wednesday. So Wednesday, 17th of April, 7:30 p.m. at Kings Meadow. We'll know more about what's going on in terms of moving forward. Then I think for the moment, I think we just leave it at that. As exactly as you said, 4 promotions since he became CEO over such a short spell of time, and massive work gone into getting the stadium sorted and the situation sorted. So just leave with huge thank you for all the hard work that he has put in and what he's done over the years at the club. And I think we leave it there for the time being. Talking about that SGM, there'll be discussion at that SGM about the new badge. The vote for that ends tomorrow, Friday. This is released on Thursday. You might not be listening to it until Saturday, so this is too late. But the vote ends on Friday at 5 p.m. for that. Badge A, Badge B, or neither, as we discussed last week. The ladies, meanwhile, first game in charge for Kevin Foster. They won 2-0 at Ipswich. Georgia Heisman and Sophie Manzi got the goals. They remain 7th in the league. It's pretty much where we're going to end up this season. No game this coming week for the ladies. They can enjoy a rest. They can enjoy a break, much like, as you say, Stu, there, Eric can do as well. Definitely needs a rest and not to have to worry and not have to come to games and stress about everything that's going on. He can just come and watch as a fan for the first time, probably, I don't know how long. Right, Player of the Year. I should mention, by the way, that Wally Downs has been nominated for Manager of the Month, hasn't he? The official League One award.
Yeah,
up against
very
Mick
well
Harford.
deserved.
Yes, well deserved. Mick Harford, Lee Bowyer, and someone from Oxford are the other nominees. I don't think Wally wins it above a couple of those, but we shall see. Probably best he doesn't, to be honest with you, because they've announced the winner on Friday before the game with Oxford, and you know what curse that can bring.
Yeah, I'll happily not take that.
Happily give it to the Oxford manager this month because of the curse it brings.
Give it and throw it at his face. Oops, sorry.
Yes. Yeah, put that in your living room, dickhead.
Dance around that.
Yeah, Player of the Year cards. Time for that. Last week, Andy Barcham, Mitch Pinnock and Scott Wagstaff were thrown out the running for our Player of the Year award. We're going to cut 3 more this week, Stu, and I've not given this any thought at all whatsoever this week. So I'm looking at the list of names to pick from that we need to get rid of, and we now really have to think hard about who is just not going to win the Player of the Year award. Now, Deji hasn't got immunity anymore, so he's in danger. He is in big danger. You know who else is in danger?
Go for it.
Falevi. Because he's not going to win it. But he's just not going to win it.
No, but like I say, he was never going to be knocked out in the first round if you had your way. But yes, he's fair game now. I will give you that.
Yes. So Falevi and Oshalaja. And who's not going to win it from the rest of them? Do you know who's not going to win it?
Who?
Dylan's not going to win it. McLaughlin's not going to win it.
No, because let's be fair. If Dylan did win it, no one would understand a word he said on his acceptance speech, would they?
I'm not sure that's the reason you're not going to give it to him.
Well, but if you're going to give the reason for not giving it to Falevi because he wears a yellow shirt for his parent club, then I think Dylan Conley's that's a fair enough reason as well.
So if I'm going to pick Falevi, are you going to pick Connolly?
I'll pick Connolly, yes.
So what are we going to do for the third?
I think just get rid of Deji. I think Deji's will win it.
Deji.
Yeah,
gone.
Let's go with Deji, Connolly, and Falevi. That's one from each section of the pitch, isn't it? I think that's a fair way of doing it.
Yes. So Falevi gone. Sorry, Michael. I'm really gutted about that. Devastated for you. Really, really, really sorry. Sorry. Dylan Connolly, you've gone as well. And Dylan, I've just kicked Dylan out the room, and he's fallen over. Oh man. He really is getting a penchant for doing that.
Another booking
for Dylan.
How many bookings you got to do before you get suspended? 5?
I think it's 5. I think he survives to the end of the season now, though.
Yeah.
I don't think that counts anymore.
Can you imagine that? Going literally last game of the season at Bradford, last couple of minutes, Connolly through, falls over, penalty. Then Quizzy steps up.
And
anyway.
Quizzy, you joke about this. Quizzy Apaya will be the goal scorer of the goal that keeps us in League One this season.
Who would be the most ironic player to score the winner at Bradford to keep us up? Who you would just laugh your head off and just say that is the most maddest season ever?
It wouldn't be Quizzy, actually. It would possibly be someone like Tom Sawers.
Yeah, I was thinking that. It would just be the most ridiculous thing. Or it would be a kid. Or it would be someone like Paul Canamai.
Yes, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, or Toby Civic. Or
yeah. Just for, of course, not that we want to get to the last minute and have that anguish at all, because that would be no good for any of us at our ages. Well, not you, but you know what I mean. But
not me. I'm only 25.
Yeah,
but for other people, I'm sure.
Anyway, let's not think too far off. 5 games is a hell of a long way ahead at the moment.
It is. I love the way you said don't think that far ahead. We've just literally predicted every single game that's of any importance for the last 5 games. We've spent the whole show doing that.
I don't know about you, but I was nervous on Saturday. I wasn't well Saturday, I'll be truthful. But I wasn't good on Saturday in terms of proper nervous for once.
Yep. There was one incident in the second half where Will Nightingale had a similarly easy clearance to complete in the way that Canambai should have done in the first half, and he mucked it up. I was like, Will, what are you doing? Now, Will recovered it, thankfully. But it's nerves. Yeah. That's what happens. It's pressure.
And you sensed it in the ground as well, because like when Accrington scored, you could have heard a pin drop. It was so. Bless, Accrington only bought about 140, 150.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
But then when the penalty was awarded, again, it was just. I think we said it before, isn't it? You know, like we were dead and buried out of the race, not even in the race to stay up, and all of a sudden we've now moved to 21st in the league. And the fans all of a sudden now are starting to believe. And it's in a way, it's the worst thing now would be if we didn't survive. Like, just out of curiosity, I looked at the last time that we were 21st or above in the table. And the last time was on match day 14 in October. That's the last time we were as high as what we are now. I know we've just moved down to 22nd because of the result in the week, but 21st is the highest we've been since October. It's ridiculous.
That is a very depressing thought. Oh well. Hey, who knows what we'll be saying this time next week? Maybe we'll be up and away from... I don't know if we can be now, actually.
No, we're giving it all.
Oh, we can be. We can be, but it's... we'll see. Anyway. Right. Last final bits then. Updates from that Oxford game will be on Twitter at 9YRSpodcast and at 9YRSpodcast.org. Don't forget our daily updates are continuing until the end of this week. Thank you to everyone that has given us feedback on those and have found them useful. Lots of positive feedback, so we're glad that they are proving of use to you. They're just little tidbits from the day, all the news that's going around the football club, of which there is a surprising amount that affects us every day. You'll be more than you probably think. And then Love Sport Radio this Sunday at 8 p.m, and I've not done the schedule yet. So I probably need to get that done, because otherwise we're in trouble, and there'll be no one on there. Maybe we should just phone up Love Sport Radio. Can I just say this, right? So Love Sport Radio, we have literally never missed a show. We've never contacted them, have we, and said, can we change it?
Nope.
We've never said, can we move it to another day because we're struggling? We've always been, we're the only ones, do you know this?
Who are you going to moan about now? Let me just think.
Well, there's one club in particular that does this all the... you know what time.
Yes.
Always them, and we always get the messages. I always get the message from the producers at Love Sport saying, can anyone switch, because said club that are now involved in the biggest waste of an FA Cup final in history that we've got to put up with in May. I'm not even watching. I love the FA Cup, Stu. It's my favourite competition in the world. I can't watch the cup final this year because on one hand you've got Watford, who are just no. On the other hand, you've got Manchester City. And oh my God, I hate Manchester City. And I think everyone should hate Manchester City, by the way. And I'm not happy that people seem to ignore their ownership completely. That seems to have been forgotten in all this. Horrible, horrible, horrible owners they have. And don't get fooled by all this positive PR they're doing for the community and all this business. Look at them. Horrible. So, anyway, not watching the FA Cup final. That all came from a rant about Love Sport Radio. The other thing this weekend, of course, or this week we have to touch on, is the music quiz, which is such the biggest difference between two subjects back to back I think we've ever done on the podcast. I've literally gone there without any segue or anything. It's just like talking about the FA Cup final. Let's talk about something completely different. Music quiz, Zach Thompson, LH and Mark Sturgis on Twitter. Thank you very much for identifying that Bret Hart was the theme music from last week's show. If you recognise this week's one, which might be a little bit tricky, it's a little bit more left field, please tweet us at 9YRSpodcast. Bret Hart honoured for the second time at the WWE Hall of Fame this week. Yeah, I'm going to talk wrestling for a little bit. Got to get this off my chest, Stu, because everyone that listens that is a wrestling fan will want me to reference the fact it was WrestleMania weekend that's just gone. And this is just my opinion. Just my opinion, okay? Don't get upset with me. I thought it sucked.
You did enjoy it?
I thought it absolutely... I didn't absolutely suck. The best show of the whole weekend was, in fact, WrestleMania, because there was nothing... There was one great match on it and one great moment, Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan, obviously. The rest of it was kind of just there. And NXT, sorry for big wrestling fans, NXT, not for me anymore. Can't be bothered with it. It's too long. I don't care about any of the people involved, and it's just matches where they do moves for half an hour. It's just not for me. I don't know. I'm in the minority here because everyone else seems to love it, but I'm missing it completely. I'm missing the point. I have no investment in it whatsoever, so that's that done. Anyway, that said, Stu, thank you very much for joining me this week.
No problem at all.
AFC Women and Business Club, they're having pedicures with former Middlesbrough midfielder Robbie Mustoe, and we're not bringing this feature back next season, Stu, because I'm running out of... I don't even know if it's ever been funny, to be honest with you. Maybe the first week. And that is it. We will see you next Thursday. Oh, we won't, because it's a podcast. We'll speak to you next Thursday. Alexa Bliss, bag first, milk last. We will speak to you again next week.